Right, so here we are, all up close and personal. But as you can see, I've drawn the fox now in pencil onto my board. Okay, so this is the fun bit, guys, where we're about to get all creative. So you might want to get yourself a glass of water to drink this time. Just be careful that you don't muddle up your drinking water and your dippy water too, which is your paintbrush water. And an apple or a snack. Guys, because this is going to take a while. Parents, might want to get yourself in some of this stuff. Because, you know, we're going to be here together for a while, aren't we? All of us together. Right, so we want to start off with some oranges first. So I'm going to use my orange watercolour pencil, and remember guys that we're going down in the direction of the hair growth that I showed you earlier. So I'm going to get my oranges on first, going all in the direction of the hair growth like I said. It's so weird being so close to you all in my head. Okay, bit on the legs, just there. This is just getting the basics of our colours on. Okay. So I hope you've all got some music playing in the background, because that all helps as well. And I always have music playing in my lessons. But because this is online, you have some weird like copyright issues with music, so you have to be quite careful. Can you see? Okay, let's put a bit under his eyes. It's really hard to remember what a fox actually sort of colours look like, isn't it? But you know what? If you want to have a purple fox, you can have a purple fox. It's really up to you. I always kind of just try it. I can't get my words out. Tell you today. I always tell you to just use your imagination, because although we're trying to sort of, I don't know, maybe colour in like a real fox would look like. Sometimes, especially now when we're all going a little bit cray-cray, all in the house together. I mean, why not have a stripy fox if you want one? Don't mind. Doesn't bother me. Nice fancy animals. Anyway, there we go. Okay, right, so I'm going to move on to another colour now, just because I want a bit of depth in here. Ooh, actually that looks a bit purpley, that's alright. There we go. Purple is actually a really, really great colour to use for shadows. So you can overlay a little bit of purple and blue, touch of black, and it makes a really great shadowy colour. Right, I'm going to put a bit in here. It aches my arm, but I don't usually do artwork like this. It's really weird for me, having my art like it up in the sky. Okay, what next? Need a bit of shadows in there. Just make it look kind of darker in the areas where it would be darker, I suppose, on a real life fox, if we saw a real life fox sleeping. Maybe some there too, why not? So basically I'm going to do my underpaints colours in watercolour pencils, but then I think what I'll do is embellish it once it's all dry with acrylic paints, because acrylic paints are really thick and creamy and it gives it a really great coverage. Okay, tiny bit of red, because I just want to kind of make this fox look a bit brighter, just in certain areas, not all over, because, you know, hair on animals is never, ever, ever uniform colour all over. So to make stuff look a bit realistic, you can mix up all the different shades. I mean, you could even put a touch of purple and green in there. Only a little tiny weeny bit though, nobody would know. Because the light bounces off skin and creates all these different sorts of colours. So just go for it. Right. I really want to blend this in now with a bit of water before we crack on with the next bit, because I want to see what it looks like. So, oh yeah, forget these bits in here. Remember, tiny, tiny marks, tiny marks. Put a bit of brown in there as well. And a bit under the eye of the brown. Okay, there we go. So that's shaded in a little bit. I'm going to get some water and then we're going to start blending it. Okay, so you want to use soft brushes for blending. I love these. These are just kids' brushes, really inexpensive ones. And they're really, really, really soft. I mean, so soft that you could use them as a makeup brush, mums, if you want to. Obviously, with no paint on them. Okay, so we're just going to dip our paintbrush into the water, take off the excess, because you don't want it dripping all down your page at this point in time, and we're just going to blend. So because we have put our paint on in the direction of the hair growth, that's how we're going to paint it to. That's how we're going to apply the water. So in the same way, in the direction of the hair growth. Now, can you see that because we have used a few different colours when we've been painting in this fox, they're all sort of blending together now, which is what we wanted. But we want to kind of get the majority of this underpainting on before we then move on to detailing. So now, what's really important when you're using water on paper that's not specific to, so this paper that I've got on my board here is just normal cartridge paper. So as artists, what we're meant to do is use the right types of paper for the artwork. So we're meant to use watercolour paper for watercolour paints, except I didn't have any. And do we always need to follow the rules? I don't think we do we? No, we don't. We definitely don't. So, but because of that, what's really, really important is you don't go over you keep it. Every now and again you'll see me kind of like go like that, and that's because I've got my phone in the background, because my phone has the picture of this fox on it. So you could do that, guys. You could borrow your parents' phone or on the computer, find a well, you're going to be doing that anyway because you're going to be watching this. So yeah, or you can print it out. So print it out and that will help you with all of the different colours and stuff like that. So what I was saying was you need to be really careful when you're painting with water on normal paper, because if you keep going over the same area too many times, you're basically going to make a hole in your paper because you're going to get it too wet. And then if it gets too wet, you get like bobbly bits of paper rolling off, which is just really not cool. And then you get a hole in your paper. But, I mean, if that happens, don't worry about it too much. Just move on to the next area and let that bit dry out a tiny bit. So you can see I'm really not going over the same area too much. Just want to get, so I'm going to just go like that, like using the sharper edge of my brush just to make it look a bit like hair strokey. Remember doing it in the direction of the hair growth. See, it's like, oh, it looks like hair, doesn't it, a bit? I don't know, can you see that? I hope so. Okay, so carry on blending in all of your foxy detail all the way around, trying not to make a hole in your paper, like I said. Try not to get too much water dripping. Guys, you're going to be doing this on a flat surface. You're not going to be doing it on an easel like me. That would be silly. So yeah, on a kitchen table, you can, these are watercolours, guys and parents, so you don't need to worry about it staining your clothes or staining the tabletop. It's going to be absolutely fine. I'm going to continue doing this, blending it all in, and then once it's blended in, we're going to move on to the next stage. So I'll be back.